Hello YouTube, Camodo Gaming here, bringing you another episode of Scrap Mechanic. Now, I've had some ideas floating around in my head, and I just recently watched the new Mad Max movie for probably the second or third time, and I thought to myself, it would be really neat to somewhat create the diesel that's in the movie, the diesel with the big trailer. I really don't want to give away any of the movie just in case you haven't seen it, but it's a design that I was thinking of. I was like, this would work really well in Scrap Mechanic, at least in theory. So I'm going to pick out some parts here and kind of start. I found a open area that would probably fit this because this is going to wind up being massive. Now, I'm not going to do like a 1-to-1 scale. It's not going to be 100% accurate, but I want it to be like a rough representation of what's in the movie. So what I'm going to do here first, it's going to need to be an uneven amount of blocks for the base because there's going to be a hitch on there, and I've learned that you need an uneven, when I'm doing a hitch, I just do it by one bearing, so I need an uneven amount of blocks, that way that one bearing would be centered. So I'm going to count these out a little bit here. Okay. Alright, I think I've got this. This is probably going to be a fairly long build, so there's going to be cuts. I'm going to try not to cut out something that's very important. I mean, this is not really meant to be an instructional video just to show you how to do everything, but I just kind of want to commentate a little bit about what I'm doing here. But I am going to have cuts because there's going to be times where I'm going to need to mirror what's on one side to the other, and it's just a lot of unneeded video. So I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible, even though this is probably going to take me several hours to figure out. So right now I'm kind of planning where I want my wheel wells to be because they're going to be massive. I'm going to use the really big wheel that comes in the game. There's two wheels. There's a smaller off-road wheel, and there's a really big one that I wouldn't say it's like a monster truck tire, but it's fairly close. So I'm going to use those, and this thing has a massive amount of wheels. I think just on the cab itself there is like 8 wheels, and then there's going to be an additional like 12 wheels on the trailer because they double the wheels in the back, at least according to the picture that I'm looking at here. So the cab's extremely long too, and that's one thing it's really cool in the movie because it looks like it's really two vehicles morphed into one, setting on a diesel cab. And my phone goes off, and I'm going to have to hit ignore on that. Let's see. People don't need to be calling me. I'm doing important things like playing video games. Let's see. I'm going to build up the wheel well here. I'm going to go across. Now, this is going to be a little deceiving. I had to figure out actually how big I need the wheel well, because it's a massive wheel, and I'm building the thing completely out of metal here, and it's going to need quite a bit of time to like go down and rest. And it's only going to get worse the more weight I put on it. But I mean, in the movie, it's a metal beast. It's meant to take damage, so I kind of wanted to mimic that in the game. I could have been really cheap and made it out of wood or something a lot lighter, but that kind of takes a little bit away from it, in my opinion. So, let's see. I'm playing this out in my head how I want to do this suspension. I think it's going to be fairly similar to the way I did it in probably, I wouldn't say the rocket chop. Well, I guess I could. The way I want to do it, kind of like that pipe system. I'm not going to do the blocks. So, I'm trying to think of the way I need to have it in the back. Let me go ahead and start mirroring it on this side here. And let's see, we're going to make that up. This is why I really wish, this is one thing that, if a developer ever see, I'm sure this has been said, I've said it in my other videos, I really wish there was a mirroring option, that way you just repeated everything on the other side of your creation, because this would probably cut build times in half, because this is probably the most tedious part, is making sure that you match everything exactly from one side to the other. So, let's see. Okay, that looks pretty good. Trying to think, this suspension is really long. Might need to go a little further up, and I'm not really sure. And I also need, I'm going to make it turn here in the front, so I'm going to need to take off probably a block here. And I think I'm going to put the cylinder up there. That way I'm going to turn using the front wheels. Thought about making almost like an all-wheel type drive, but I don't think I want to go through. I don't know if that's really going to work, especially once I'm carrying the really big trailer. So I think everything's going to have to be dependent on the front for turning. So I need to grab a cylinder here. I'm going to use the pipe. No, I need something smaller. Let's see. I think I'm going to go with... I guess I could use the standard pipe I'd been using. Use the pipe short here. And that should do it. So I'm going to need to put a bearing up here, and then I'm going to put the pipe right below it. And then those suspension on. And let's go ahead and throw this piece. I don't know, it depends on how much suspension I'm going to need here. Let's go ahead and do this on the other side. Wait. See, now I'm starting to doubt myself. Let's go ahead and just mirror it on this side and then see what it looks like. Get an ideal for what I need to do here. I'm going to use this corner piece. I've been doing this on quite a bit of my creations, so I'm going to do the corner piece here, add a bearing. So that should get the turning out of the way. I'll have to see once I put all the weight on it how far the suspension is going to go up and if the actual thing's going to be dragging. So I'm probably going to skip a little bit here. Okay, I've mirrored both sides of the suspension, and now I'm moving on to what I want the front to be like. I finally think I figured something out. I've been at this for about 30 minutes attempting to figure out how I want the grill. And in the movie itself, there is actually a little bit of it's like a plow that's on the front of it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to exactly mimic the plow. I'm kind of made the front go out a little bit, but there's no pieces in Scrap Mechanic that actually look like a plow. So I think I'm going to have to just make it look like there's somewhat of a plow on the front. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. But I'm going to make the top here. I'm going to make the grill. And this is where I'm going to stuff the motors. There's going to be a little bit of a hollow area here. This is where the engine's supposed to be, but realistically it's going to be probably about 4 little gas generators, and I'll make something cosmetic on the front. Make it look like there's a big powerful motor down in here. So let's go and make that go far out here. Yeah, this is going to be tedious. I can already tell this is going to take a while. So yeah, there's probably going to be more cuts in this video than I want, but I really don't want to bore you guys to death with just watching me do some of the things I'm going to have to do here. So I have to see where I'm going to start cutting out commentary and start cutting out everything else. Okay, I'll try to make this look a little bit more. Try to make this look like a plow. I'm not really sure how this is going to work. I think on the sides I can at least do this. There. Okay. There. I think that looks pretty good. Alright, we're going on to the doors. I've already placed the motors in here, and I'm going to place some doors. And one here, one here. Now, I believe the thing itself, of course my phone's still going off, I believe the car itself has 4 doors on it. It's got 2 for the front. I think the passengers actually have doors, but they're kind of tiered up a little bit, so I'm going to see how I'm going to do this exactly. I'm playing this through my head also how I want the dash to look here, because it's going to have a lot of buttons on it. I want to make it look cool also when you're in first person. So let me do console or controller here and here, and I'm gonna have a lot of buttons up here when I need to control doors. And also in the movie there's a little bit of like a trap door in there. I don't know how I'm gonna mimic that. I might just have a door that's in the floorboard that swings up that you can escape from the bottom, but I don't think I'm gonna have a compartment like there is in the movie, so I'm not 100% sure how I want to do this. Apologize if you catch my loud dog in the background too. It's probably tired of me playing video games. Let's see. It's a fairly high cab. I'm going to probably have to make like a floorboard in here too. Let's go ahead and connect these doors though. Yeah, this is one of those things in Scrap Mechanic. You'll figure out really easy how to do simple doors, simple compartments. It's a really pretty powerful tool. Let's see, I'll slow those down. I don't need them to swing open and kill people when they open. So, oh yeah, it's got some weight to it. I don't need to reverse that. There we go. Oh, this thing's going to be heavy. I hope it drives. I would hate to put in all this effort and it doesn't. It's not able to pull the trailer. I'll have to add more motors. I'm not really sure here. Let's see. These need to not open immediately. Oh, there we go. Okay, click it and they close and open. Okay, that looks pretty good. Also got to see what else we need to do here. Let's go ahead and put this thing. I'm probably gonna do like a wood floor or something. I don't think this is gonna set high enough. Let's go ahead. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to see over the dash if I'm in first person, so I'm gonna need some sort of floorboard. Let's go ahead and grab wood here, and I'm gonna place this. Okay, there's wood. Now I gotta also remember there's gonna have to be seats in the back because there was passengers in the movie. So I want to see kind of how I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be probably fairly difficult. Let's place this other seat if I can get out of its way. Place it here. I need to fill out the rest of this. I'm probably gonna make a cut here because this is gonna be a while. Okay, I've filled the rest of the cab out here, and I think I've got everything at the right height. I can now see over the dash, so I'm fairly happy about that. It took me a little bit figuring out how I wanted to do this, how I wanted to do the back seat. Now, as you can see here, I've got a little door here. In the movie, there's a little compartment that they can hide in, or they can, I guess, store things in. I don't have enough room for that on this build, so I had to make it to where it just really opens up and you can jump out of the bottom of the cab. And I figure out, I guess I needed to open straight up here, so I'm gonna need to get a controller. There we go. And I don't know if I need to have multiple controllers in here because I don't want to map everything to when I open the outside doors. I don't want the trap door to open. So I think if I stick a controller back behind the seat, let me go ahead and stick one more here just in case I need it. Can never have too many of these things, so I don't know how many moving parts I'm going to have in this cab. So let's see. I need to go ahead and map it to the door, and then I'm going to need to map it to a button here, which I'll then map those buttons to the actual driver's seat. That way I can use them. I think 180 should open it up straight up, so let's click the button here. Yep. Okay, that works. Click it again. Closes. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, let's see. So I need to set it back on a stand here and finish the passenger section in the back. I'm going to go ahead and start sticking a roof on here. I know about how high it needs to be. I don't want my head poking out the top. And just by looking at pictures here, I think I can make this look somewhat like the real thing. So, across here. I need one bar here in the middle. There. Okay. Alright, I'm going to fill the rest of this roof out, so this might take a moment. So, let's see. I'm going to cut it here. Okay, I've finished the roof. I've gotten the back closed up. Everything looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and do this little cosmetic thing that I'm going to make it look like the engine's a lot more massive than it is, and oh, that part's not going to fit. I guess I can do this out of, yeah, if I do this out of cement for almost like the block, and I can make the way I do my headers, I use this little block that's got these wires, and they really look like headers coming out of the top, or exhaust. So let's go ahead and I don't think there's anything else I'm going to use. let's fill in this gap here. And in the picture I'm looking at here, it almost looks like there's two motors. Like one sets up in the back a little higher than the other. So I think if I do something like this, that would work. Let me go ahead and fill the rest of that out. And let's place that there. Let's place that there. I'm going to get rid of one here and one over here. So yeah, that makes it kind of appear that there's two motors sticking out the top. Well, you can't really see it from here, but I need to figure out a better way that I can climb up on this thing. So you can see I filled the back out here also. I'm almost through with the cab. I'm going to move to suspension. The cab in the back has two wheels, and I kept thinking the back was actually doubled. Like there was a wheel on each side of the, like almost like the traditional diesels will have the double tires. And that's what I thought the cab was. But in the movie, the picture I'm looking at here, it's actually not that way on the cab itself. Now on the trailer, the tires in the back are doubled up, so I'll need to keep that in mind when I'm doing that. I'm going to have to trim off some here. So once again, also from the picture and from what I remember in the movie, it almost looks like the cab itself in the back actually sets higher. It's almost like it's pointing down a little bit, so I'm going to need to make the suspension a little higher in the back and try to give it that effect. And one issue that I'm thinking of, and I hope it's not true, once I actually set this thing down, if the back's setting higher, the front might be dragging or digging into the ground, so I might be doing some trimming on the front. I'm not 100% sure here. So let me go ahead and playing this out in my head, how I need to do this. Let me think. Yeah, I'm looking at this front. I'm almost 100% sure it's going to be dragging, so I'm going to have to trim off probably a decent bit, at least maybe some of the bottom blocks. But let's see, let's trim off a little more here because I'm going to need two tires setting. Trim more here. And looks even. Trying to picture this in my head. Let's go ahead and set this up a little bit because I still think I'm going to need to be a little bit higher. I think I can probably start. No. To trim off even a little bit more here. I'm not really sure. Let's go ahead and do it. God, I had this thing pictured out in my head like it's going to be a little bit easier. It's going to be quick. I know what I'm doing. This picture's giving me plenty to go off of, but with the limited amount of blocks and resources here, this is becoming a little bit more of a challenge to figure out exactly how I want to do this and make it look somewhat like the movie. Trim a little more. I'm being really indecisive about what I'm doing here, so let's go ahead and place a bearing here and okay. Wait a minute. Why would I need that? No, I don't know why I put a bearing here at the top. I'm not going to want these backs to turn, so I just need a standard. I needed to go down, needed to be a shock, and I needed to be the wheels. The front is going to be what actually turns the cab. So let's get that there. Put a bearing. I'm going to put a wheel on it. Okay. Yeah, that looks right. The back's setting up a little higher, so it should point it down a little bit. So let's go ahead and get another one here going. Probably going to have to extend the cab out a little bit too, so this looks a little weird that the wheels are all the way in the back. Of course, when I put the hitch and everything on it, it might even it out, I'm not sure. Okay, I need to do this to the other side. Hopefully it's going to clear. I think it will. Let me go ahead and do this other side real quick. Okay, I've gotten both sides smeared. Oh, And the door's going crazy. And that switch apparently is not connected. And I'll have to fix that. And I'm going to go ahead and give a little test. I've gotten both sides worked up. And wow, that actually looks pretty cool here in the cockpit. And seems to be working. I'm going to need to turn the engine power up a little bit. I know that. This doesn't... actually, this is going pretty well. This is fairly fast. It looks like the front wheels are clearing. And the first time I set this down, it did dig in, so I did have to trim a little bit off the front. But yeah, it seems like it's actually going fairly well. It turns fairly well. I don't know how this is going to work with a big trailer on it, but as far as the front goes, now I'm also going to stick a lot more cosmetic items on here, so it looks a little bare right now, but I'm really just testing to make sure the cab works. Okay, after I've tested everything here in the cab, I'm going to go ahead and start building the trailer, and I've already got a little bit of a hitch design here. And this is why I made the cab an uneven amount of blocks. That way I can get this point to go out right in the center. That way it should pivot and be right. It should be centered, so I shouldn't have any issues. And make sure the trailer is going to clear. This is going to be a massive trailer. Let's go ahead and put it out on the sides here. Okay. That looks good. Looks good and even, at least. Let's go ahead and start pulling this trailer back. This is going to be probably a really, really big pain in the ass. Let's keep going out here. That looks probably have to go a little bit longer. Let's pull out here. That might get it done. That's mass. I hope this thing turns. I don't know, this trailer's going to have to be massive. It's like a tanker, and there's a little, I think it's in the movie, I believe it's a fuel tank. So I'm going to need to build a little, almost like a sphere right here, right around the hitch. I don't know, I guess I'm going to probably just put that in. I think in the movie it's detachable, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Let me get an idea of how I want to do this. Okay, after setting with this here for, I think, at least an hour, I finally figured out how I want to do a design where it's a big cylinder. Of course, you're dealing with square blocks, so it's not going to look like a perfect cylinder. But I figured if I build it out, and then I'll just kind of circle it around here at the top, this is going to work. You go ahead and throw a little bit of suspension here in the back and make sure this thing sets right. But yeah, this actual cylinder for the tank is going to be really tedious. Make sure this thing even sits. This is one of my fears. I probably should have did this right before I started building the cylinder. But I have this fear of this not actually working. So let me go ahead and stick one of these down. A block here. See, I'm going to need to do this one that it points out on both sides. I'm going to have two wheels here in the back. Oh man, I really hope this bends. Let's see. Let's set this up this way, and I'm going to place this under here. And I'm going to place a bearing on each side. There we go. Let's delete this and see if the trailer sets up. Oh, it actually does. Okay, let's see if we can turn it. Wow. Okay, I've skipped a lot of stuff here. This has taken a long time, a lot longer than I really want to admit it did, but I've got the back trailer filled out. I've got everything, I believe, in the way it needs to be. It does turn, so I'm fairly happy with that. I built what looks like a little bit of a cylinder where the gas is being held, but I don't know, I couldn't really figure out any other way to do that, so now I'm going to move on. There's a little, almost like a guard post here in the back of the trailer that I'm going to go ahead and mimic. I'm going to build it up like so. Needs to hang over a little bit here. I don't have one spot to sit. This would actually be kind of neat if I had like a fairly decent sized group of people to try this out. Everybody can sit in the cab and somebody can sit up here at the top. Gotta make sure this is going to be wide enough. Oh, nope, screwed that up. Okay, I'm gonna surround that in the back. And up here at the front, let's go and stick the seat in, see what it looks like. And just build around it here. Build up. We should just do the points here, the four corners. And we're gonna build that. Let's see. I'm also trying to picture in my head how I'm gonna do. Is that high enough? Yeah. I'm actually picturing in my head how I'm gonna do some of the cosmetic items, because this thing is gonna look pretty bare if I don't start adding some random parts and pieces to it. So let's see. Dogs are going crazy in the background too. Let's go ahead and make this look like it's a little bit more stable here. Oh, that's not good. Head's poking out. Alright, let's add a block here to the top. Make it look functional. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of cosmetic items now. I'm getting a little bit of frame rate drop here also. There is some issues, I think, with the suspension that causes frame rate drops. It's some bug or glitch, but it seems to have gotten a little bit better here. Let's see. I kind of want to make this thing look a little less bare, so I've been adding some cosmetic items. I'm going to add some of the random signs and all that goodness. That doesn't look like it's going to fit very well. Maybe... oh, let's use this. Nope, upside down. Okay, place one of those. Skull and crossbones, or wrenches, whatever you want to call it. I've also added this little exhaust system that I just passed by. Make it look like more of a diesel exhaust. Let's go ahead and place that there. Oh, lights. Yeah, I need lights in the front. Let's see. Just that one like that. And let's get rid of this block. There we go. Let's put some more lights probably on top here. There's one there, there. Trying to think what else I can add here. How about a duck? Let's add a duck. Let's place it where I can see it from the driver's seat here. Because why not? Yeah. She's looking pretty good here. Let's see. I'm going to add just pretty much any random junk that I can add to this thing. Can't wait for more parts to be released. I can keep adding just random crap. Let's see. Better not add any potted plants or anything. I'll fill this fender out too a little bit. Give it a little bit more definition. There we go. Oh yeah, that's a fairly mean looking diesel, even though it's all squared off because of, you know, scrap mechanic parts, but I'm liking the way this is looking. Let's see, is there anything I can add to the trailer back here? Let's get one of the big caution signs and what else? Let's just grab a bunch of random parts here. Sometimes you see wires hanging on the back of diesels. Might be like hydraulics or something. So let's just throw some of those back there. See if I can... Oh, there we go. Make it through to the other side and place one of those there. And let's see, the trailer itself's a little bland. Let's find a way up here on the front. So the only way I can get on top of it now. Let's add these little points. Let's add a couple. Oh, that looks a little uneven. How did that happen? Or is it? Let's grab the brick. We're gonna have to do a little bit of sculpting here. I don't know how I missed that. This other side looks like it possibly needs to be built up a little bit. Let's get rid of those. And There we go. That looks more even. I'm gonna add the top here. And one here. And let's correct the side here. There we go. I believe that's gonna even the sides out. I don't even know how I even missed that. I'm really, really bad at, like, I constantly go back and forth making sure I'm mirroring everything, so I have no clue how that even just passed over me there, so. There we go, that looks even. And of course I'm gonna miss the trailer. Yeah, ooh, another thing I thought they could probably add, they need to add ladders into the game. There's a lot of areas where I can use some ladders, so. There we go, gotta be careful about where I'm jumping here. Let's go to the back, we'll place a couple more of these points, because why not? There, and there. Alright. Is that uneven? No, it better not be. Let's take another look at it here. Oh no, I guess it was just the angle I was at. I thought the whole trailer was uneven. I was about to freak out. Alright, she's ready to be driven. And it actually turned out fairly well. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not a one-to-one. It's not an exact replica, but this actually drives fairly well for what it is and how heavy it is. And I'm actually pretty happy with the way it looks. There's a couple cool ideals that I've implemented in here, and everything's functional. It's got the doors open, the trap door, and it drives fairly well. You can tell it's really heavy. It looks cool. I mean, the trailer seems to, oh, that's a tree. Okay, let's back that up. The trailer seems to be pivoting right, and it does, you know, go up and down, and I'm popping a bit of a wheelie here because of the weight. But no, I'm pretty happy with the way this one turned out. It took a long time, probably longer than it should have taken me, but I'm still kind of learning the game, and I'm hoping to play a little bit more of this. Let's see. Also got to find a cool spot for a screenshot here. Yeah, that looks good. It's not dragging it. I did have an issue at first where it was dragging the front end, but that is stopped. And here's the first-person camera. If you want to kind of look at the inside of my duck. Yeah, this is good. Anyways, I think that's going to wrap it up, guys. We'll see you next time. Maybe playing some more Scrap Mechanic, maybe playing something else. I'm not really sure. But I definitely want to keep updating as this game updates. I definitely want to do videos about the updates and kind of showing off some of the new parts and some of the new ideals I get. So, we'll see you guys next time.